Hello, a very warm welcome to Rising Stars. I'm Vikram Oza. All right, so like many startups, you set up your retail business, but you want to ramp up sales and you aren't quite sure how to do it. So here's a company that set up shop in 2008. It's based in Bangalore. They're in the business of increasing your customer reach, your engagement with your customers, and also building their loyalty, and all of it consequently adding up to sales. So that's the nature of business that Capillary Technologies is into for retailers and consumer brands. And the way they do all of this is through several routes, like an omni-channel engagement setup, a commerce suite that includes CRM as well as loyalty, marketing cloud, MartJack e-commerce platform, customer analytics, and of course there's online to offline commerce, which they're building, what we also know as O2O. So Aneesh Reddy is co-founder and CEO of the company. He's our rising star today, joining us from Bangalore. Welcome to the show, Aneesh. As someone who's worked in ITC in the past, has studied retail so closely, when it comes to servicing the retail sector, what have you found to be the biggest challenges, Aneesh, at least so far, considering that you started Capillary back in 2008?
Right. I think retail has been dynamically evolving in India and other Asian markets as we speak. E-commerce has come in. There's a lot happening on social. So I think a big piece of the puzzle has been keeping up with time as retail and as the consumer in general evolves from being an offline purchaser to being more of an omni-channel flirt for the lack of a better word.
But you managed to get the backing of investors early on, like Warburg Pincus, you got Sequoia, Qualcomm, Norway. So what was the strongest element of your pitch that you think has really worked for you so far?
I think, as a business, it's a very sticky, low-churn business. I think when customers are happy with you, investors tend to have a lot more confidence. And in our case, given that it's long-term relationships with a lot of these retailers, and we also work with them across multiple markets and multiple countries. The strength of the tech, the strength of the team, extremely low churn, which means that you have very good business continuity. I think some of those are the factors which have helped us in get very good investors into the company.
Aneesh, take a step back and explain to us, perhaps with an example of one particular retailer that you've helped out, and give us a sense of the strong verticals that you're creating as well in the process.
Right. So let's take an example of a Pizza Hut,
okay,
where we work with them in roughly about 10-12 countries around the world. Again, if you look at a pizza as a business, very largely delivery-led, and then the fastest to move online, food in fact, is again moved online very, very fast. So someone like a Pizza Hut, we work with them in the Middle East, in India, and a bunch of countries. And what we help them do is understand their customer very well, understand, at what frequencies do which type of customers order, what do they like ordering, what time of days do they order, and when they, finally are moving from offline to online, what's the best trigger, can we try and enable, as minimum clicks when you order. So for a Pizza Hut, it's a journey of understanding the customer to then going on to actually, helping them reorder, whether it's through the call center or whether it's through the online ordering site that a Pizza Hut would have.
Sure. And the business model, the revenue model that you created, Aneesh, I'm sure you've shaped it as you went along. What kind of margins did you start working on for the variety of service that you started offering, and how did you develop that model as you went along as well?
Right. What's interesting about us is we don't sell software as a license. Mm-hmm. Instead, we tend to rent software out. So customers or retailers or enterprises, and very, very large enterprises that which work with us, tend to pay us a monthly retainer or a monthly rental for using the software. And what makes that very interesting is, at the start, you need to get to a minimum critical mass of customers before you really start making good margins. Otherwise, when we started off, I think, over the years, the profile of enterprises that we work with has gone from more mid-market retailers or mid-market companies to very large companies now. Good examples being, leading retailers in every vertical, Madura Garments or Arvind in apparel, a Landmark Group, a Pizza Hut, a KFC, etc. So on the margin side, because of the rental type model, we tend to have very good gross margins, 60% plus. But what tends to happen is, we tend to invest a lot more in the technology piece, as we realize that anything consumer facing tends to change very fast.
Yes. So there's constant investment towards that, I would imagine. But by way of scalability, Aneesh, you're raising the bar because you have this strong global presence already. You're serving more than 250 brands, I'm given to understand, and these are spread across over 30 countries. You've got as many as 700 employees. So are you building synergies in your operations now, led perhaps to the kind of homogenization we're seeing among clients in what they're looking for with the global presence that they have themselves?
Absolutely. So more than about 25% of our business comes from MNC retailers or brands,
Sure.
Which are present across various countries. So one is you get standardization right there, and second, it's a platform on the cloud. So essentially, all these 250 odd customers and over roughly 20,000 odd stores and 300 odd enterprise sites all log into the same backend, all log into the same cloud in that sense. So it's the same tech that's really powering all of them. So there's massive, scale that we're able to achieve from this. So if you look at a market like India, we're able to process roughly about $6 to $7 billion of retail sales every year now, and it's all on the same backend. So there's massive scale and standardization that's already built in there.
Aneesh, how many of the clients that you serve are real startups? And between online and offline retail as well, when you look at your clientele, what's the split like right now?
We tend to work more with larger enterprises than with startups.
Right.
Having said that, we probably have between 10 to 15 smaller startups which are customers with us. More on the omni-channel commerce side than anything else. But I think it's an interesting shift because you're starting to see a lot of these online-only players also wanting to do offline. So I think the mix might change over the years.
So what's the focus for the future then, Aneesh? What's the way ahead now? How do you kind of take your business from where you've got it so far?
It's still very exciting times. We've been roughly growing at 70 to 80% year on year. As we look at our penetration in our own customers, I think less than 10-15% of customers use us across their entire estate across these countries, across Asia, in a sense. What we're also beginning to see is, I think there's a very big opportunity to build a large enterprise product company out of India, focused on Asian markets. So as we speak, we're building a lot of other products on using artificial intelligence to do analytics or, computer vision to help, offline retailers or offline stores get as good data as you get on the online world today. So those are again very exciting products that we're investing into as we speak. So the idea is over the years, can we build a multi-product company like a Salesforce or an SAP or an Oracle out of India? So
it sounds very promising, Aneesh, because from a retailer's perspective, you can never know your customer well enough. The idea is to boost sales, and the more you know about the habits of your customer, the more power there is to the kind of operations that you have and for the kind of products that you want to design for the future as well. So Aneesh, good luck going ahead. It's a pleasure having you on Rising Stars. And that's our Rising Star, Aneesh Reddy of Capillary Technologies. And that's where we're wrapping it up for the moment. Bye-bye for now.